I'm going to show you two different solves, and which solving style would you rather have? Now, aside from being a really smart, majestic, and fast speedcuber, I also have the ability to read people's minds. And I know that the second solving style is the one you chose. It has little to no pauses and is much smoother and faster. So if you want your solves to look like that, you need better look ahead. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to improve your look ahead and get your solve times much faster. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Before you actually get into look ahead, you first need to know if you can do it and what it is. If you can solve all your F2L pairs blind, then you are ready for look ahead. Here's what that looks like. Over here, we have two F2L pairs, this one and this one. And if I got this exact case in my solve, I would probably do the orange-green pair. So just from looking at it, I know that I can solve it with R, U, R2 prime, U prime, R. This means I can close my eyes and solve the pair, like so. That's solved. Now, if you can do this for each and every one of your F2L pairs, you are eligible for look ahead. If you can't, that's something you need to work on if you want to get faster. So, if you are eligible for look ahead, here's what you can do. Again, we have two pairs. And if we're going to solve the orange-green pair first, and it's in our muscle memory, this means that we can solve it blind. So instead of looking at the orange-green pair while we're solving it, we can look at other edges and other corners, so that once we finish the pair, we can go straight into the next one. And this is exactly what look ahead is. It's looking at other pieces while you're solving your current pair or algorithm, and it directly helps you stop pausing in your solves. In this example, I have my cross solve, and it's time to solve my first pair. Because I can solve all my pairs blind, instead of looking at the pair I'm solving while I'm solving it, I'm going to be looking at other pieces, other corners, and other edges. But it's important to know where to look at so you can optimize your efficiency. So here's a good example of what that looks like. Over here, I'm probably going to solve this orange-green pair, like so, with keyhole. And while I do that, I'm going to be looking at this top layer, because if you ever have a pair that has both pieces in its top layer, that pair should be really easy to solve, since it can just be solved with R U moves or L and U moves. I'm also going to be looking at these two empty slots, because they're just naturally easy to see, and they can hold a lot of information. So just from holding the cube like this, I can see that I have this blue-red corner in this slot, I don't have anything in this slot, and I have this green-red edge over here. So now, I'm going to solve this pair with the U prime and D prime moves at the exact same time, like so. And now I know that this edge in the back is a blue-red edge, and its corresponding corner is over here. So then after I insert this green-orange edge over here, this corner will be moved up and join its edge. So after I insert the edge to complete my pair, this corner joins its edge, and it has a super easy pair that I can solve in the back. So now after I solve my first pair, I can go straight into solving my second one. But in some cases, no pairs will be visible in the top layer or in these front slots. And if you ever have something like this, the best thing you can do is to look at where new information is coming from. For example, in this case, we have pretty much nothing except for this 3-mover that can be inserted into the back. However, this isn't as bad as this looks, because this means that a lot more new information is going to be coming out of these back slots. And because we're inserting this pair into the back, let's pay attention to what we get from the first move. So our first move is R prime, and this moves this corner down over here, and this corresponding edge is now revealed to be inside this back slot. So after we finish the pair, these two pair up, and it can now be easily inserted into the back. So just because you don't have any information doesn't mean there isn't any information available, because the truth is, information is always there. However, sometimes it's in places that aren't visible. Now I'll be going over 2 tips to make your look ahead better. The first one is really common and it happens when you have to rotate to solve a pair. Here's a good example. Over here, I have to rotate to solve this pair. However, the way I do it actually matters. For example, if I rotate here to solve this pair into the front, like so, I'm literally doing nothing about the pieces in the back slots over here. However, if instead I go here and solve this pair into the back, I'm closing the gap for which my pairs can be, and I'm making it easier to see all my pieces since the gap is closed. And the last tip is to practice slow solves. Slow solves, as the name suggests, are just solves at 2 to 3 TPS. And the reason they are so good is because turning really slowly helps you see each and every piece and makes look ahead much easier. And as they start to become more and more comfortable, you can start to increase the TPS. So that's about it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.